English 122, Day 6, Using Evidence in Argumentative Writing. From Writing Arguments, pages 89 through 103. The term evidence refers to all the verifiable information a writer might use as support for an argument. Here's a cartoon from Doonesbury. Just goes to show how much we use evidence to support our beliefs and claims in everyday life. Remember the classical argument structure. We have a claim attached to a reason which is supported by the grounds. In Toulmin's terms, evidence is part of the grounds or backing of an argument in support of reasons and warrants. Understanding the rhetorical use of evidence helps writers better understand how to use evidence ethically, responsibly, and persuasively in their own arguments. As a way to evaluate evidence for its persuasiveness, apply what rhetorician Richard Fulkerson calls the STAR criteria. First of all, consider the sufficiency of the evidence. Is there enough evidence? This is a function of the rhetorical context. The more a claim is contested or the audience is skeptical, the more evidence may be necessary. Guard against having too little or too much evidence. Also consider the typicality of the evidence being used. Is the chosen evidence representative and typical? Readers need to believe that the evidence is typical and representative rather than an extreme instance. Also consider the accuracy of the evidence. Is the evidence accurate and up to date? Be scrupulous in using the most recent and accurate evidence you can find. Accuracy is one function of ethos, which is the audience's confidence in the writer's credibility and trustworthiness. What's wrong with this picture? Also consider the relevance of the evidence being used. Is the evidence relevant to the claim? Evidence will be persuasive only if the reader considers it relevant to the contested issue. Always choose data from sources you think readers will trust. Get a sense of who the participants in the conversation are and what their reputations tend to be. As another way to evaluate evidence, consider more closely the rhetorical context in which the evidence operates. Consider what kind of evidence it is. There are many different kinds of evidence for you to choose from, including data from personal experience, data from observation, data from interviews and questionnaires, library or internet research, expert testimony, statistical data, and data from hypothetical. First, consider the use of data from personal experience. Help your readers identify with the writer, show the writer's personal connection to the issue, and capture their imagination through your own personal experience. However, this type of data may be insufficient, not typical, or not adequately scientific or verifiable. Also consider data from observation. This kind of data gives a feeling of scientific credibility and can enhance the ethos of the writer, but again it may be insufficient, inaccurate, or non-typical. Data from interviews or questionnaires enhance sufficiency and typicality of evidence, can increase scientific feel of the argument, uncover local or recent data not yet published, and provide engaging personal stories, but they may have flaws in research methodology, design, or typicality of the subject. Data from library or internet research is often powerful when the sources are respected by the audience, but skeptics doubt the accuracy of facts, credentials of sources, or research design, as well as sufficiency, typicality, or relevance. Data from expert testimony can be less persuasive than direct data unless the source has impressive credentials. Statistical data can give powerful snapshots of aggregate data from a wide database and are often used in conjunction with graphics, but they may have poor statistical methods, research design, and/or interpretation of the data. Data from hypothetical examples have strong imaginative appeal, but are persuasive only if they seem plausible. Also consider the writer's angle of vision. Angle of vision is the perspective, bias, lens, or filter through which each individual's way of seeing the world is shaped by their values and beliefs. A writer's angle of vision helps determine what stands out for that writer in a field of data, what data are worth focusing on, or what data are worth ignoring. So your book refers to selective seeing as a process where a writer consciously selects evidence from a wide field of data and then frames these data through rhetorical strategies that guide the reader's response. Always consider how the evidence in the argument has been framed. A writer might control the space given to supporting versus contrary evidence, might emphasize a detailed story versus presenting lots of facts and statistics, might provide contextual and interpretive comments when presenting data, might put contrary evidence in a subordinate position on the sentence level, might choose labels and names that guide the reader's response, might use images to guide the reader's response to data, or might openly address the value system that determines the writer's framing of the data. Ethical use of data means using reputable sources, not intentionally inventing or distorting numbers, and not ignoring alternative points of view. Always alter the rhetorical effect of a statistic by choosing between raw numbers or percentages, choosing between the median, which is the middle number when all numbers are arranged sequentially, and the mean, which is the average of all numbers on a list. Decide between unadjusted or adjusted numbers, but remember that the base point for statistical comparisons makes a significant rhetorical difference. Consider these strategies when using evidence in argumentative writing.